What's up, guys? This is Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our playoffs round 2 match in the DnD or Dunsparces and Dragonites. This week we are taking on ShinyKrabby and his Hitmontop Oss. Krabby ended up beating us in the regular season pretty handily with a Naganadel sweep that I'm still reasonably salty about. And he was the only person in the entire championship league to have a better record than us. He went 11-1, we went 10-2. He ended up playing Arnaud in the first round of the playoffs and beat him 3 or 4-0, whereas we ended up playing Jed and beat Jed 5-0 in our first round of the playoffs. Not that those scores matter by any means, but Krabby and I were in different divisions. Arnaud was in my division, Jed was in his divisions. We both ended up playing each other's divisional opponents in the first round and then ended up against each other in the second round. This match is pretty important. Whoever wins this is guaranteed a spot in the Premiership next season, because the champion and the runner-up both make it in. Whoever loses this has to play the winner of Jed versus Arnaud. So they get to play again, and we could potentially end up playing Jed or Arnaud for the third time this season. If we do lose, then we will be playing one of them for the third time this season. Both of them we were 2-0 against, but they're both still really tough matchups. Anyways, let's run over Krabby's team here. He's got Skarmory, Florges, Dugtrio, Delphox, Combuskin, Naganadel, Mega Blastoise, Drapion, Chestnut, Cofagrigus, and Vikavolt. He has priority in Dugtrio with Sucker Punch, Hazard Setting in Skarmory with Stealth Rocks and Spikes, Dugtrio with Stealth Rocks, Drapion with Toxic Spikes, Chestnut with Spikes, Cofagrigus with Toxic Spikes, removal options in Skarmory with Defog, Florges with Defog, Mega Blastoise with Rapid Spin. He has 1 4x weakness in Chestnut to Flying. I am expecting the exact same team. I think it makes perfect sense for him to bring the exact same team against me. He really didn't pivot around very much in that game. It was kind of like Skarmory, Florges, Naganadel, and that was about all you saw. We ended up killing the Skarmory with a Discharge crit. He brought Naganadel in. We had nothing to break a sub. It subbed up on my Zapdos' face a bunch of times, actually, until it was 1 HP or something. I ended up breaking its sub with Zygarde 10% Extreme Speed, which was really important to pick it off afterwards. And basically I sacked my entire team to Naganadel. It got 6 kills against me, and I was really, really sad. Now, the team I'm bringing is almost identical to the one that I brought the first time. Now, don't let that fool you. It doesn't mean that I've given up hope on this game. I actually think, and Jed agrees with me, that this was the close to the most optimal build I could have had against this team anyways. And the fact that I'm bringing the same team just means that I'm more confident in my way to play this match this time. Especially if he's sub Naganadel. He can't really be sub Naganadel, I don't think, the second time, because I have a really solid way to beat it. Like, I know how to beat it now, and I'm playing more aggressively since my match against him, because I don't want to lose, and I really want to make it into the Premiership, and winning this game means that I make it in, so that's kind of my goal. We're bringing an Alomomola here. We'll start with this. Physically defensive to take on things like the Combuskin, take on things like the Drapion really well, takes on things like the Dugtrio really well. It's not necessary for the most part. We can kind of take on the Chestnut. Grass type moves obviously aren't that great. He's got a very specially offensive team for the most part. But I felt like Alomomola was okay in fulfilling a role that it just was sort of like a fat wish passer as well. At the same time, kind of protect to scout out some things, toxic some stuff, get some wishes off. Notably, he does have a cleric in Florges, so toxicing things doesn't necessarily mean they're done forever. Yeah, we'll actually finish running through my team, and then I'll talk about what I think he's bringing a little bit more, and what I might see, and what we're not expecting. Bring Zapdos again, especially defensive Zapdos. This takes on the Naganadel really, really well. It actually took on the Naganadel last time really well. Even on +2, Naganadel couldn't OHKO me, but this time I have HP Ice, and I ran some calcs, and with 8 special attack investment, actually with no special attack investment, as long as I'm 31 IVs, I can always break a sub from Naganadel. Even if he's some weird max HP, max SpDef, calm-natured Naganadel we will always break his sub with a hidden power ice 100% of the time, unless he's behind a screen. So, if he brings screens, which I think he can, I think Delphox and Florges get screens, so I think he can bring screens. If that's the case, then we probably lost, but if he doesn't bring screens, then we will always break Naganadale's sub, and Zapdos will be able to 1v1 the Naganadale really well, because he either has to attack me, and then I can blow something back with the next Pokemon over here, or he's just continually subs in my face until I break all of his subs with HP Ice. That's kind of the plan with Zapdos. I don't want Zapdos to be that weakened, but we have Roost in case we do need to. Discharge is really good damage. It takes on the Blastoise. The Zapdos set takes on the Mega Blastoise as well really well. The only thing that kind of switches into this is the Dugtrio. Florges kind of switches in on this too, but as we saw last game, I have a really good switch into Florges. This takes on Cofagrigus, I think, relatively well as well. Defog is there because he's got 2 Toxic Spike setters, and my team does not like Toxic Spikes that much. I am bringing a Grounded Poison type, so I don't care too much about Toxic Spikes. Stealth Rocks could be a problem too. He's got a lot of hazards on his team, so I thought Defog was kind of just like, you know, throw it on there and it can be useful. Next up is Swellow. We're bringing, boom, Swellow. Choice Spec Scrappy. We naturally outspeed the Naganadel, and Boom Burst goes through sub. I ended up misplaying quite a few times in letting Naganadel get a sub up against my Zapdos, instead of just doubling right into my Swellow, threatening that thing out with a Boom Burst, and basically being able to tear through his team. He doesn't have a good switch into this, to this Boom Burst. Skarmory is kind of a switch in, Florges is kind of a switch in. I'm packing another Defog on this because I didn't see the use of another move, but now that I'm looking at it, Air Slash might be good because I don't care too much about Defog. No, I'm going to leave it. Actually, we don't really need Air Slash. It would only be for the Chestnut, and that thing's not taking a Boom Burst. Heat Wave is there for things like Skarmory, and that's actually it. It's there for the Skarmory because Skarmory switches in on a Boom Burst. Okay. U-turn for some momentum if I need it. Yeah, we're running out of speed to naturally outspeed the Naganadel, max special attack with the rest popped into HP. Swellow's a massive threat to his team, and I brought it last time, and that's fine. You'll notice, if you are watching the team builder from one back to the other one, that we don't have Steelix on the team anymore. We actually dropped that the week that we played Krabby, and I had filmed my team builder already, but we have Floatzel on the team. I don't think Floatzel has the best matchup. While I do think Floatzel has a good matchup, I didn't end up bringing it. It can actually deal with Cofagrigus really well, kind of, as long as I don't attack it and then he burns me, because that would really suck. That's the whole point of Water Veil. It deals with Dougie really well with Aquajet. It deals with Combuskin and Delphox really well too. It can deal with the Vikavolt really well. It can deal with the Drapion fairly well, and it can actually go up against the Chestnut all right. But I'm deciding not to change anything. We're bringing the exact same 6 Pokemon, but I felt I should talk that Floatzel is on the team. We're just not bringing it. So that's Swellow. Next up is our Zygarde. Bringing a Choice Scarf Zygarde to be able to outspeed the Naganadel. And Thousand Arrows, some things. He's got a relatively weak team to Thousand Arrows. Chestnut is kind of his switch-in. I was expecting Chestnut to come last time. Kind of. It was on my maybes, but I was expecting it last time to sort of switch into Zygarde 10 because he really just can't deal with it otherwise. Like, Thousand Arrows kind of tears through his team if you don't see Chestnut there. If you don't see Chestnut and Vikavolt there. And Vikavolt takes it neutrally too, so it's I've got Outrage on there in case I need to lock myself into Outrage. It's kind of just the best move to hit everything. He did not, well, he's got Florges as his fairy, but Zygarde 10 doesn't give a fuck about Florges, it just Thousand Arrows its face off. Extreme Speed is there in case I need the priority. I needed it last time and I blew it too early. Stonehenge is there for the Vikavolt switching in, potentially. It's also there for Skarmory, I guess, kind of. I didn't really need a last move slot, and so I put Stonehenge on there to deal with those kind of things. Yeah, that's kind of just the whole idea with Stonehenge. Mostly Vikavolt. We're running enough speed on here to outrun the Delphox, and therefore we will outspeed Naganadel and Dugtrio if it's not Scarfed. So both of those not Scarfed. Max attack with a lot of HP. Excuse me, so we can take hits on both sides better. Naganadel's still gonna OHKO us excuse me, with like a Dragon Pulse or something like that, but that's fine. Next up, Seabat Power, our Scolipede. We're bringing a Sash Scolipede. This is the exact same set we brought last time with Baton Pass, Poison Jab, Protect, and Substitute. Protect to get up a speed boost for free with our Sash still intact. Sub so that we can pass a sub into something else. This switched in on Florges really well, and it let me set up a sub and get speed boosts up on Florges for free. And he had to switch out the Florges because our mono attack is Poison Jab, which will hit the Florges. We can't touch the Skarmory, and Skarmory switched into this quite a few times, but as long as I'm passing a sub into something else, it's a free switch in for me, and then I'll have the speed boost. I'm considering passing speed into Zapdos quite a few times this game. I'm not entirely sure. We ended up like going back and forth, and I got like a few speed passes off. I got one into my Medicham, and then he switched into Skarmory, and I was really worried that the Skarmory had Brave Bird because it would destroy my Medicham's face. That's kind of where we're at with this. Naturally, we're going to outspeed the Delphox, which lets me get up a sub on the Delphox potentially switching in or something like that. And then we'll outspeed a Scarfed one after our speed boost and be able to pass into something else. Max Sack because I really didn't have another place to put it, to be completely honest with you. And I'd like the Poison Jab to do as much damage as I can before that's kind of where it's at. Last but not least is Mega Medicham. We're trying to pass speed into this thing. That's kind of been the strategy the entire season, and I've only brought it like twice now. Actually against Krabby, maybe 3 or 4 times, I can't remember. Zen Headbutt, Drain Punch, Bullet Punch, Thunder Punch. I ended up changing Poison Jab. This is not the exact same set, just Poison Jab is missing. Poison Jab was only there for the floor just last time, and I didn't think that it was worth it this time. We've got the Bullet Punch there anyways, which is also super effective against the Florges, and the whole reason that I had Poison Jab on there was because, okay, Zen Headbutt's doing about the same, maybe a tiny bit more to the, well, no, it's close enough that Zen Headbutt was doing almost the same, but I didn't want to miss Zen Headbutt against it, and so I ran Poison Jab. I think the priority is really useful against Naganadel anyways, because this isn't necessarily our win con, even though it puts in a lot of work. He's got quite a few like decent answers to this, so I feel like having Bullet Punch on there just to sort of like break a sub from Naganadel or pick something off that's really low is more important this time. Zen Headbutt is good stab. It's only really going to hit the Naganadel and the Chestnut for super effective damage. Drain Punch is going to hit most of his team and just get some recovery back. I can't hit the Cofagrigus. I was really worried last time about the Cofagrigus coming as a Mega Medicham check. I'm still worried about it this time, but he didn't bring it last time, so I'm curious if he like doesn't care. Thunder Punch is there to hit the Skarmory and the Mega Blastoise primarily, although it is my best move to be able to hit the Delphox and the Combusken. No, Combusken's going to die as an headbutt. It's my best move to hit the Delphox as well. Max Attack, Jolly with a lot of speed on here lets us outspeed the Drapion. That's what we're outspeeding, as a max speed Drapion. It takes Drain Punch neutrally. We take Knockoff neutrally. I don't know what the Drapion could actually do that would destroy my Mega Medicham. I feel like I would just outlive that thing in a battle. Anyways, I'm still happy with the team. We really only changed 2 things. Swapped out Poison Jab for Bullet Punch, and we swapped out oh god, what was this? Toxic? No, it was Heat Wave. Sorry, I had Heat Wave on the Zapdos, and we swapped that out for HP Ice to be able to break the Naganadel sub. So, if he brings the same team as last time, I'm more confident going into that matchup this time, even though all we saw was the Skarmory, the Florges, and the Naganadel last time. I'm still fairly confident that we can take on his team. He brought Skarmory, Florges, Delphox, Naganadel, Mega Blastoise, and Drapion. We did not see the Delphox, Mega Blastoise, or Drapion. I was not expecting the Delphox last time, and he brought it. Odd. I was expecting the Dugtrio and the Cofagrigus, neither of which he brought. This time, Vikavolt stands out to me that it actually has a reasonable matchup. I mentioned against Jed that electric types have a solid matchup against my team now. After dropping Steelix and dropping Cryogonal, I'm very weak to specially offensive electric types. Vikavolt is a much better electric type attacker than Electrode is, and so I'm fairly scared of it, especially if he can speed pass it from Combusken into it. However, I don't think Combusken's coming. Things like Togekiss just wreck Combusken, Floatzel's a huge threat, Swellow's a huge threat, Zapdos, Mega Medicham destroys it, Zygarde destroys it. Meh. Alomomola walls it, so I don't think that Combuskin would come. So basically, I'm expecting the same 6, or Dugtrio, Cofagrigus, Vikavolt. I don't think Chestnut comes, because again, I have a lot of really good flying stab, and it's 4 times weak to flying, and it's special flying for the most part. Well, I could do physical flying too, and it would still destroy him, so... I think my flying types cover Chestnut, and I think they cover Combuskin. Vikavolt I'm scared of. Cofagrigus I'm really scared that it comes as a Mega Medicham check. Dugtrio I'm scared of. That's about it for me now. I will let you guys be, and I will see you guys for the match.